September numbers are in. It's early October. We're looking at the data, and it didn't quite pan out, I think, the way we thought it might.
Never does it?
No crystal ball, right?
No, there isn't. Bank of Canada held a rate we thought would be a good thing to happen, which obviously it's a good thing to happen, but we thought it would have maybe a little more of effect coming out of a very slow August, but it didn't rebound in September. It stayed pretty flat.
First 8 months of the year, we followed usual real estate seasonality, busy spring, lull in the summer, and typically in September, you get a bit of a bump, at least by about the second or third week, and we didn't really see that.
Everybody, from the number of sales, I mean, all we keep hearing about is how inventory is growing, and that's been the challenge to sales. Oakville probably was the least decline. They were only off by a couple of points,
right.
Number of units sold. But if you look at other markets like Burlington or Hamilton or Milton, I mean, they were down 25% overall.
Yeah, Burlington was 25, Hamilton was 15. Sales year over year were up a couple points in Burlington, about flat in Hamilton.
They were fairly flat everywhere. I don't think anybody was necessarily down, but it's funny, I looked at the chart of where we were. So 2023 in September, we were right back to where we were in September of 21. So we were up a bit from September of 22, which was obviously our toboggan ride down to the bottom. You know, anywhere we go back from there, it's just down. And the difference between now and 2 years ago we had rock bottom interest rates.
Right.
2 years ago, we were in the middle of the frenzy. Fast forward to today, we're not in the middle of the frenzy. We got record high interest rates.
Combined with inflation and
all these other things going on.
Expenses everywhere.
It doesn't look like there's anywhere for us to go up at this point. It looks like that trend is going to continue to drop off.
I think so. It seems like a bit of a balanced market, at least for the moment. I wonder if a continued uptick in new listings might shift things a little bit in favor of buyers.
We were still in a seller's market a year ago, simply because we didn't have the inventory.
Right.
We're now carrying about 4.5 months of inventory today, pushing a buyer's market.
Well, that's where I'm going with it. We're
cracked 3 months of inventory. You're now getting into buyer market territory. So we're getting to that point. I don't see a rebound coming anytime soon, quite honestly. I mean, we keep hearing about supply and demand and all the housing crisis that's going on, but now we've got an issue where we've got inventory available and people aren't buying it.
Well, at some point that cycle should break. Hopefully it remains balanced, because I think a balanced market is certainly better than a market that favors one side or the other, buyers or sellers. Right now, I think we're there.
I think it'll keep our prices fairly flat going forward. We're going to hope it doesn't drop off. We're back to 21 numbers today. Where are we going to go in a year from now? And obviously we don't have a crystal ball, but I think as we stand right now, with the economic status we've got going on out there, I think we're pretty in alignment thinking there's some sort of recession coming. People looking at selling, if you're looking at selling between now and the next 5 years, you got to look at what your goals are and what you're trying to achieve. Because once that market starts to return and come back, what's going to be the highest demand housing out there? Where's the big demand going to come from? It's going to be those people trying to get into the market. Yeah. But those $1.5 million plus homes, and the higher you go, I think the less demand there's going to be, because those are the people that are taking on all big mortgages to get there. And I don't think we're going back to 1.5% or 2% interest rates anytime.
It'll be a long time, if ever.
If ever. Yeah. So there's a lot to weigh in there on it. Get back to September, I think we were expecting it to be a little busier than it was. Showing activity is down, sales activity is down, pricing's pretty flat. I think that's pretty common across the board. September was a little bit of a disappointment in what we were hoping to see.
Yeah, it wasn't what I thought we'd see at all. I hope October's a little bit stronger.
Problem is there's no indicators to say it will though, right?
You don't know. You know, sometimes it's just boots on the ground and your finger on the pulse. What does it feel like? And right now, I'm getting a few more requests for showings the last week or two, but most of September, frankly, there wasn't a lot of activity. It was quiet.
So I think looking outward, I mean, if I was sitting in a position where I was trying to decide what I was going to do going forward, I think we're heading into that market where, if it was me personally, I'd be considering, should I be looking at selling my house now versus down the road, and what circumstances are going to dictate my decisions. Getting back to our peak of February 2022 numbers, I think a long ways away from that. So.
Oh yeah, and I don't know if we're going back there anytime. But if you've been in your house for 10 years, even 5 years for that matter, you're still ahead. Pricing today is where we were about 2 years ago, but you bought 5 years ago, you're okay. You missed that frothy excitement in February 2022.
It's like anything though. It's like trying to time the stock market. Every time you try to chase the market, you end up losing.
You can't do it.
So you do it when it's right for you.
And I think going forward, those are the decisions we'll see. People will be doing what's best for them and their families. We're not going to go back to that frenzied activity.
So people that are on that fence about what do we do, I think that it's actually a unique decision based on every single homeowner. We need to have those conversations about what's their objective or what they're trying to achieve, and is it the right time to buy or sell now, or should they hit the brakes, pump the brakes a little bit and wait?
Remains to be seen. Soft September, hope for a stronger October.